Let's talk a little bit about the astrology that is happening for this week, May 13th through the 19th, 2024. We'll get a little bit into the astrology, and we'll also talk a little bit about what kind of folk magic stuff can we do to really honor the energy of this time and how to really apply that to what's going on for you. So we're going to talk about basically this week's astrology, which is really interesting because there's a lot of transits happening and perfecting, but they are all very much involved with more personal planets bringing in the outer and transpersonal planets. So that's what we're going to see, is that much of what's going to happen this week is going to be happening either in the headlines, kind of humanity forward in a certain direction, and we also have some experiences where if this is somehow impacting your chart, you might notice big changes coming in your life, where at the beginning of the week, you're making some decisions that feel really good. I need to change this. And then by the end of the week, you have the opportunity, you have the drive, and maybe even the resources come around to give you these possibilities so that you can end the week with the potential for peace of mind, knowing that you are making aligned changes in your life. That is my wish for you. Now let's dive into the chart a little bit and talk about what this looks like in action. So I'm going to bring up our Luna astrology software here. And so what we're looking at is the beginning of the week, which is the first thing that we can see here, where the sun on Monday does conjoin with Uranus. This is what I'm talking about with possibly making big decisions or big changes, or getting that impulse that something is ready to go in a different direction. And now we're going to talk about getting the resources to do that. So throughout the week, we're actually going to see that the sun, now separating from Uranus, is moving towards this conjunction with Jupiter. This is where the big I need to do this, I feel confirmed and affirmed in this, may come from in your personal life. Like I said, though, keep in mind what we're experiencing as a collective world, as a collective humanity, because that is what these transpersonal planets seem to really specialize. Jupiter will show us different trends, like in markets or in social media. So we may see that kind of forward and beginning a new cycle of trend in that way. But what we're also seeing is this new cycle of trend happening across the world. And we're already seeing a lot of catalytic happening where we're deciding things, we're making decisions, we're figuring out where we're taking our stand and where we want to see change in the world. You can see this already this week in the headlines that have been developing. The other thing I want to talk about is our little Mercury over here is going to get out of Aries, and we're actually going to see that Mercury, if we go into the event navigator here and we pop over to zodiac sign, Mercury is going to come into Taurus on May 15th. And so with that, now we have Mercury in Taurus with domicile ruler Venus of Taurus. And this is also going to be Venus slowly approaching Uranus, while we also have the sun and Jupiter still in Taurus. Jupiter is going to be leaving Taurus for 12 years come next week, I believe. It's on the 25th. So Mercury will be moving out and it will be moving out in about 10 days from Taurus to now ingress into Gemini, which we will talk about more in depth the closer that gets. So that is kind of what we're looking at for this week. By the end of the week, the sun will form this sextile aspect. The sun will reach 29 degrees and sextile Neptune, which is where I'm hoping this peace of mind comes from. Venus will come to conjunct Uranus on the 18th. So if we pop forward here and we update the chart to the 18th, we will see that Venus, of course, very close to now the sun conjunct Jupiter on the same day. We have this little party happening here. And it is interesting to see that they are all together within 5 degrees of each other. So this is a big energy that we might feel with Venus on Uranus, bringing big changes to our values, to our resources, to the way that we understand how we assign value to things, and even into our relationships. And then the sun and Jupiter receiving is Kazemi, his renewal of his cycle with the sun. So this is some poignant moments of Jupiter energy really just coming through. When a planet is Kazemi, they're said to be sort of seated with the king in the throne. So at this point, we see Jupiter with the king seated in the throne, and that should be shining through as well. So perhaps because both benefics are involved in this, we might see positive changes beginning to occur in areas that Taurus rules. So this is in our natural resources. This is in how we supply resources to people. This is in how we supply tangible and non-tangible resources to people. I've noticed that our healthcare system and our education system and our workforce also seem to be involved with this whole Uranus and Taurus, which has been developing and now gets so much energy with it at the same time. This is the first time since Uranus is in Taurus that Jupiter would have interacted. So we're seeing a lot of energy here. Both benefics and of course the sun are involved. This could lead to very positive things, but it may be that we are pulling something from the root first to make room in the garden for more to grow. So here's hoping that that is something that we can see and enjoy together and see the long-term effects of being very benevolent and very benefic. So what do you do with the folk magic of this week, considering everything that's going on? One of the things that we're dealing with this week is, of course, the moon, which was new last week, is now increasing in light until next week when she will be new. So we are enjoying that increase in light, that increase in energy. This is a great time to be bringing increase to things. And if you're not sure what that should be, if you're not sure where this affects you, I would look at the signs that the moon will be in this week, and I can specifically share those with you. The moon will be in Leo until the 15th of May, Virgo until the 18th of May, and Libra until the 20th of May. And of course, I'm actually drawing this out of the As Above, So Below little newsletter that I give to free patrons every week. So if you're interested in all of this information every week, you will be able to receive it if you want to join the free tier of the Modern School of Ancient Wisdom Patreon. So if you have any placements in Leo, Virgo, and Libra, lean into those this week and see what areas of life Leo, Virgo, and Libra actually do rule in your chart based on what their house is. So look at the house that they are in. There's going to be little numbers on the inner circle of your chart associated with that little pie slice. And you can just look up keywords for that house, or you can reach out to me in the Modern School of Ancient Wisdom and we can talk about it a little bit more, especially at the student study tier level where we learn astrology and folk magic with multiple live calls a month. So I also have rising sign horoscopes in there for you. So you'll be able to see basically what the energy is doing for you this week. Again, on the free tier, no worries there, but everybody gets a horoscope based on their rising sign. Your rising sign is on your astrology chart. It's at the 9 o'clock point. It will be associated with the number 1 on that inner circle, and it will likely have an AS or AC lettering in there. That will be letting you know that you are at the ascendant or the rising sign. They are the same thing. So with that, if you're not sure what to do even beyond that, you can just practice a little bit of divination, pull out your oracle cards or your tarot cards, pull out your pendulum or your dice, anything that you feel aligned with. In the Modern School of Ancient Wisdom, I do go into how to read playing cards in the student study tier this week. So if that feels like something you'd be interested in, you can check that out as well. But regardless, I hope you have an amazing week. I hope this energy of abundance and big benefic energy and increasing moon and all of these things finds you well and brings you peace and brings you joy. And I will be here next week to tell you all about the full moon coming up. So have a great week, you guys.